So, the news of the week for the 15th week of 2023. So we're not going to go over all the mysteries or the unexpected stuff from the patch, such as the blue and orange potato, or the TV memories that you can now put outside, or even the daily or weekly quests, and so much more. We're actually going through what is actually announced after the patch got released. So we've got bug fixes. So Gameloft have acknowledged a bunch of bugs, and they've actually put on their Discord a few workarounds for some of those bugs, but we can expect probably a hot fix probably next week or two. There's also a new community competition that they put, which includes actually a bonus item with that, which is actually an item that's on the star path already, but you just get a little extra on there. But the reward for the community competition is actually a mystery item, which we don't know what that is yet, so that's going to be rather exciting. There's also been a survey that's come out that's made people a bit overexcited about the Beauty and Beast section, because, or not section, well, the character, they had a list of characters of what you wanted coming to the valley, and one of them said Beauty and the Beast additional characters, which made people freak out thinking that was a spoiler, when in reality Beast is already in the game and Belle's on the front splash page, so it was kind of expected that would be coming. People went kind of a little bit nuts over that. And also the last thing is the shop now resets 2 days later than it had before. So I don't actually have a shop update for you, and I'm going to have to do that a little bit delayedly. Maybe. I'll see how that goes. So that's the news for the 15th week, and what we'll do now is go through it in a bit more detail. So first step we're going to do is go over to the Discord and look at the bug fixes. Alright, so this is what they released. So this was on the 11th of the 4th, so only about 3 days ago. I mean, this always runs on my time, so that's why it looks like they're working at 3 a.m. in the morning, but you know, in reality it's normal time over there. Basically, they just want to acknowledge about some of the known issues that they have experiencing. I went to the Trello board. The one thing that annoys me about the Trello board, that the Trello board is updated by the community managers. It's not actually updated by the devs, so they're pretty much updating it once they've been told it's been that status. So you don't really gain any additional information in real time. There's not going to be any, you don't go there daily and see the developers like changing it, unfortunately. But it's still a good, nice little way of keeping the community engaged and informed. What they've noted is you're unable to move your mustache after staking your territory. The staking your territory quest. That's put. Yeah, I never took it off because I never needed to put it on, because my character actually has a beard. I haven't actually had that problem, but some people apparently have. I'm guessing more of the female characters, because most of them don't have the facial hair. Also, the avatar skin texture changes and pattern. I don't really know what that means, but I'm assuming some of the skin options are a bit buggy. That's my best guess on that. Patron lilies and frosted heights appear red. Yes, so that's a bug that they've at least acknowledged. That was actually a bug they've had before, and they fixed it, but now it's gone back. I think they fixed it. It was like the Scar update. It was an early bug that they had, which was very annoying, because I thought until I really got into the game, I thought actually all the roses were actually red, but they turned out different colors. So it was an early bug that they fixed, and now it's come back. So someone pushed the undo button somewhere. Stitch's hobby quest, repair television. Obviously, I'm past that point, so I never had a problem. But obviously, some people out there are still had that problem. I don't know if that problem existed before, but it's weird that a new content update can mess up old quests that are already published. Go fishing with Scrooge. Judy is translated incorrectly in French. I kind of want to know what it's actually translating to. What's it saying? Like, what's the incorrect translation? I mean, if it's something like stupid, like just a weird, adjective or kind of connecting something, but I like to think that maybe fishing is completely mistranslated. And so a whole bunch of people would be doing the wrong thing and then wondering why it's not working. I really hope that's the case. Like, I really want it to be like, go shopping for new items, or there's a French word for shopping for new items. And so people are constantly trying to go to Scrooge's shop every day, buying everything you can, it's not working, and they're like, oh, I must have already had that item, or something like that. I don't know. My head canon. It's probably something not like that, but now that the icon on the quest HUD appears incorrectly, I didn't really have that option. Probably the bug that I had with the quest was the characters disappearing the minute you got a quest for them, or the one you had to visit them. I had that quite a lot. So they've offered a couple of workarounds for that. Oh, here it goes. Fishing with Scrooge duty bug. Despite the incorrect translation, if a player goes fishing with Scrooge 25 times, the duty will complete as intended. Which isn't in French, if you notice. So the workaround that they have given isn't actually in French. So I'm not quite sure how anyone that has this problem currently is going to really know the workaround. But I guess, someone could translate it for them or chuck it their way. I really know. I'm super curious what's that actually kind of. But obviously it's nothing. It's incorrect enough to need to actually state you have to go fishing with Scrooge 25 times. So obviously they're not fishing. It's not like a one word missing and fishing is still in the quest. Something's gone wrong there. But yeah, that's the bug fixes there. Then next up, what we got? A new community competition. So if we go down to something that was actually announced yesterday, is the new community competition. Now, I think they're doing this to really fill in the time between the updates, because there is a bit of dead space, you could say, between the two, between when the update's released and the next update. So they introduced this community challenge, which is very similar to the challenges they had for launch, where they were telling people to share it X amount of times, then we unlock this, and that's how we got multiplayer. This is actually related to the game, and they have shown stats previously of how many people, I think it was during the Christmas time, how many people did planted XYZ. So this really is going to help that. Now, for all those out there, there is actually a free item that you can get straight away by redeeming it. So if you put in this code, Dreamlight Park, you will get an item. Now, before you get too excited, I will show you the item, because you might be already familiar with it. Switch over the game. So the item that you get is, here it is. So magical recyclers. So you'll get another one of those magical recyclers, which is already on the star path. It's not a massive item. What I've also noticed is that there is noted here, you get a mystery Disney Parks item, and this Disney is at 15 out of 16, and I've unlocked everything. So I'm suspecting that the mystery Disney Parks item, I think, is going to fill that 16th slot. There's no way to actually track this. It doesn't indicate how we can actually track it. If we look at this, there isn't anything that indicates how we're going to be tracking this. So I think we're just waiting for updates to see whether we actually hit the mark or not. So hopefully we can actually eventually hit that item, but it's hard to tell where we're at the moment. Considering how many people have gotten into the new update, I've got a feeling that this could be already hit now, but there's no way to actually tell. I would like something in-game to be able to tell us, but I guess we'll find out the hard way. Yeah, so this is the new community challenge. Something different. I think it's just something to keep the whole conversation going about Dreamlight Valley, but I think it's not really that effective if they don't tell us where they're at with it, because for all we know, they could just already have set in place when they're going to tell us, and we could already have hit these marks. So I guess we'll find out the hard way. Anyway, let's move on to what's the next one? Survey. So one of the things that came out is the survey. I don't know if anyone here has actually done it, but if we go to the survey, there's something in it that made people freak out a little bit. Well, not really freak out. People said it was a bit of a spoiler, that this confirms these characters are coming to the game, but I personally think, here it is. So the question was, we are looking to introduce new characters to Dreamlight Valley. Which Disney/Pixar franchise would you most like to see introduced? Notice one interesting thing from here, though. They didn't mention anything about Marvel, anything about Star Wars, or anything. So I think it's fair to say we're not going to see those characters, at least for a very long time. But on here, what made people kind of get a bit uppity is really, not uppity, but kind of confirmed a few things, was this. The Beauty and the Beast additional characters. And they're like, oh my god, that confirms that we're getting Beauty and the Beast characters. Oh my god, what a spoiler, all that stuff. You see, my argument for that would be they're already in the game. Bella and Beast are already in the game. So we'll quickly switch over to here. A good example, we go to Memories. We go to Memories, and you look at this one. Who do we see on the right? Beast. And notice I've got the sparkle around it, as all the characters do. So this is one of the early quests you get in the game. We've got Eve there, we've got Vanellope there, we've got Beast there. Now, we already know we're going to get Vanellope. And Beast is quite clear. We're going to get, if we're going to get Beast, or if we're going to get Bella, we're going to get Beast. And the reason why we're going to get Bella is obviously because of the splash page, which is always something we see. See, if you notice, Belle has always been in the game. It's always been pointed out Belle is going to be. And if we look at, this art, this is one of the main pages we saw for a very long time. And this was even before Buzz and before Stitch got introduced. And if you look at this page, Stitch was there, wasn't in the game yet. I think Scar wasn't even in the game when this came out, because Scar was in the first update and this was the first reveal. And we have Buzz on the roof there. So all these three characters have been introduced in updates, so obviously we're going to get Belle. So people freaking out over the whole, it says that means we're getting these characters. Yes, of course we're getting these characters. They're already in the bloody game. So calm down. I mean, some things are quite interesting. Winnie the Pooh is an interesting one as well, of them offering that. Because of the Chinese market, so for all those who don't know, Winnie the Pooh is banned in China because a lot of people use Winnie the Pooh as a reference to their leader to make fun of him. So it's banned, which makes it rather difficult to introduce him into games. Now, they could obviously do a region lock thing, no big deal, but obviously they wouldn't be able to keep Winnie the Pooh part of any main quests. So that was rather interesting. The other one I noticed that was interesting, Finding Nemo. I think with Finding Nemo, they're going to do it like Woody and Buzz, how they're small and they walk around. I think the same thing will happen with the Finding Nemo characters of them being in the water, though I do think it's going to slowly get a bit too crowded considering how much water there actually is in the game. So that might be a bit difficult. The other ones here, nothing else really surprised me. About Nightmare Before Christmas was an interesting option. I obviously clicked that, and Hercules, because I love Hercules, but Nightmare Before Christmas, I didn't think they were actually introduced that, but obviously enough people have talked about it to make them think it. And Treasure Planet. Is Treasure Planet on that list? I don't think so. No, Atlantis is. And Peter Pan, for those listening to this, there is someone that comes into my Twitch stream called Hell, who is very keen on Peter Pan. Sorry, what am I trying to say? Hell really likes Tinkerbell, and she goes on and on about how she wants Tinkerbell in the game. So I don't want Tinkerbell, but there you go. There's Peter Pan option. So Hell, if you want this to happen, fill in the goddamn survey. And the last thing we've got to talk about is the shop. What had happened previously is I'll be able to do these updates and show the shop any new items, because I've really bought everything on the shop because of the moonstones you get for buying the game, and plus my own dollars and cents that I've thrown in there. So I was able to talk about the new items on the shop, but it looks like they've changed the time by 2 days. So it actually resets tomorrow, which is a bit annoying because I can't really go through it, and I'm essentially going to have to wait 6 days to talk about it. Let's say, to be honest, I'm probably going to be ending up editing this tomorrow. So I'll put in a little screenshot of what the shop looks like now. But this is one of the things that was a weird change. But to change it by only 2 days, it doesn't even line up with the update that was released as well. Because the update was actually released this time last week, yesterday. So 8 days ago. So it didn't really even line up with that. So this was a weird change. It's a weird change, and I don't really understand why they've done it. But hey, there must be a reason. Maybe it's because to line up for the end of the week instead of having the shop reset midweek, which feels a bit. I mean, maybe they've got this. You know how they've got nowadays. A lot of game companies hire like microtransaction analysts and behavioral pattern kind of people, and maybe behavioral wise they find the most purchases occur on a Friday, so if they do the reset there, it kind of encourages people to check it both before it resets and after, maybe, or it's maybe the end of a financial week and it makes more sense. I don't know. It just feels like a weird change to have. And yeah, that's it. That's the news of the week for the 15th week, which was a lot more just disjointed because I literally just wrote that before I started streaming and I didn't really have it a lot set up. So I hope you all enjoyed it for what it's worth. And if you're watching this on YouTube in the future, just leave a comment, a like, whatever. Just to let me know, whether this all made sense.